Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Descent into Holmes End. Fix my hair real quick like I do every time. Let's just get right into this as we always do. Let's start off with talk about your characters a little bit. And this time I want to know, what is their greatest strength? Anybody feeling up to just jump in at the start?
Hi, I'm Evan, and I play
go, Evan.
Dr. Andre Morgan. His greatest strength is not going totally crazy off the bat.
Off the bat, I like that you said that.
That's true.
He's good for the first few sessions. Let's move over to Ryan, who seemed very eager to talk.
Well, I'm Ryan. I play Mr. Briarweathers, and I think Briarweathers' greatest strength is everything. He's so goated with the sauce. That's the
You're
goated.
fired.
That's the sauce.
Well, if you had to choose one,
Well,
how was that? It's a bit of a jump
I'd
cut
probably
there.
say Briar's greatest strength is the way he goes about talking to people. Meeting, he's very intuitive as well. He asks the right questions, I find. In fact, he did that when he met everyone for the first time. He asked them a couple questions, and I think I actually accurately determined a lot of facts about you guys just based on like 4 questions I asked, and they all turned out to be right. So what do you look
I
at
don't
that?
know
I thought
about
Briar's
that,
greatest
bucko.
strength. I thought Briar's greatest strength was going to be left and right.
No.
Fucking strongest member of the
3
party
rounds.
out here.
Good
Oh,
old
yeah.
rounds, buddy boy,
Well,
3
That's what I
rounds.
was talking about. He's great all around, but physical strength isn't everything. He's
so
intuitive.
you
Go
think
away
his-
with
yeah,
3 rounds.
His brain is better than his brawn.
No, but I think he's intuitive, and I think that's his greatest strength when it comes to people.
Yeah, that's what you appreciate the most about Briar.
Absolutely, I find strength can't solve everything.
All right, yeah, Pacino. Let's move on to one of the ladies. Anybody wanna go in? Okay, we're going for Halia then. Halia, let's go with you.
Go.
Hi. I'm Halia. I play Crystal. A strength?
You look like Lauren right now with your hoodie up.
I'm cosplaying. Sheer will. I don't know. I don't really.
Or what about her curiosity? I feel like that's
Oh yeah, I
good.
guess. Is that a strength though?
Yeah, in some ways.
I mean, I guess. Sure.
If you want to spin it in that way.
Her greatest strength is her curiosity.
Nice. That was a great thought. Let's move right on over to our final gal, Lauren. Or sure,
Hi.
Halissa.
Alyssa?
Can be used interchangeably.
Yeah, let's just do Hello Soren or something. I don't know. Either
What?
one of them.
Yeah.
What did
Who
you
do you
even
play?
say to me? Hi.
It'll be a surprise.
Hi. I'm Alyssa. Hi, hello. I play Lauren Brown in Holmes End. Hi. Greatest strength. To be honest, I don't really fucking know. Lauren does a lot of fucking nothing. But if she's passionate about doing something, she's gonna do it. So I don't fucking know.
She's got spunk.
She got spunk.
You
When-
You
got
got
a good
moxie,
cut of
girl.
Good cut of
She
the
got
jib
she
there.
got spunk. She got
Well,
moxie when
Thanks
she
for
needs-
sharing, y'all. I'm glad we got that out of the way. Let's
Who are
let's
you?
get right into this. Yeah, what do you think your greatest strength is? Leave it down in the comment as we get right into this episode of The Descent into Holmes End. In the last episode, the party was attacked by a strange figure while they were hiding out. He snuck his way into their hideout and managed to shoot Briar twice before he was taken out and viciously beaten to death by Briar himself. Reeling from the attack, the group finally decided to leave Holmes End, where they slowly recovered and talked amongst one another. It was a surprisingly calm week, where truths were laid out and madness was left behind. However, at the end of it all, the investigation was not over, as they prepared to make their way back into Holmes End. The night they were due to leave, they all had a strange dream, almost a premonition of events to come. And this is where we left off. As the group prepares to make their way back into the troubling town, we will have to see what clues they come up with in tonight's episode. Chapter 6: An Interrupted Investigation. Let's just get right into this, as we always do, and start off Session 6. After the quiet and relaxing week outside of town, the group finally made their way back into Holmes End. To start off, Lauren and Crystal went to the library and found plenty of information on the burning news. Once again, Arthur advised the group not to investigate further, especially after the prior incident. But the group ignored his warnings and pushed forward. They were given access to the storage room in the basement of the library. This area contained aged newspaper clippings from decades prior. There were plenty of them. I'm going to read off a couple here, as the characters found them out. An extremely old newspaper clipping from March 16th, 1857, announced the new grand reopening of the Holmes End newspaper after the tragic fire that occurred during December 10th of last year. Thankfully, no lives were lost. There's another extremely old newspaper clipping from December 12th, 1885, that talks about the fire that spread suddenly in the Holmes End newspaper, the cause of which was determined to have been a broken candle holder. Thankfully, because of the heavy snow, the fire did not spread as far as it should have, and no lives were lost. Another one. Newspapers dictate a total of 21 fires of fluctuating severity that occurred between the opening of the Holmes End newspaper and the rebranding of the company on January 1st, 1960. No lives were lost in any of these incidents. We get another clipping from January 1st, 1960, detailing the rebranding of the Holmes End newspaper to the Burning News. In front is a wide picture showcasing a man with a long face, heavy dimples, sharp prominent teeth, a brown widow's peak, wearing a gray suit and fedora, with very pale, almost gray skin, standing amidst a crew of people in front of a newly refurbished building, where in the back, construction can still be seen. And the final clipping was from December 11th, 2002, just 18 years prior. It talks about a tragic fire that spread from the printing room. Authorities state it was caused by an electrical malfunction with the printing press. Unfortunately, 2 people were burned alive in the destruction. A man named Russell Crowe and the manager of the Burning News, Angeline Pine. This little information just tossed right at you. But what were Lauren and Crystal thinking as they went through and they found these newspapers slowly over time?
They should probably move that newspaper place.
Yeah.
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 They haven't learned what the fuck. After the 4th one, you'd think like, I mean, come on, buddy.
Just shut the whole place down at that point. Like, isn't even worth it.
Place is haunted.
Yeah.
Money.
Isn't it strange?
Strange.
Yeah.
But they kind of embraced it when they changed their name.
They did.
It did.
They really did.
They embrace.
So, like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen again.
Let's just fucking do this.
Yeah.
Goofy.
Definitely strange. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. What were you
Yeah.
thinking at the time?
Definitely strange.
Yeah, just like, that's weird.
That's weird.
There's a lot of fires.
To be honest, I don't remember why Lauren was down there. I feel like maybe someone told her to.
We
But,
might have just
Briar.
went together.
yeah, because
Go do something!
me and Crystal's library use are very high, so I think Briar was like, "Okay, you two, go
Get
do
going."
That
something,
makes sense.
Just
get away
mention-
from the lake."
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
rolled like an extreme or something, which is why you
Get
got all this
reading.
information.
Yeah, I think between the two of us, we did really well.
Mm.
Just for the record,
Or-
Briar also has a pretty good library use.
Why the fuck did
Jack
you
of all
do
trades.
it?
Check them
Yeah. What are you gonna do in the meantime? Go to the lake? No thanks.
Yeah, we will see later. Briar was off doing another task, But is there
You
anything
know
you guys
what?
like to
You know what?
add?
That's
Any
fair.
thoughts you guys had? Mr. Evan and Mr. Ryan or Halia?
I mean, not really anything. Just like, that's weird. They should probably do a different building and not build there again. But
1960, January 1st. You know what I think? Vampire!
Yeah?
Sharp,
1960.
prominent teeth, pale skin, widow's peak. That's Strahd.
That's
You
Strahd.
put
I put Strahd in
Strahd. You put Strahd in here.
What's he doing in there?
Come on, stop burning the news down.
Noah
Because you-
just can't escape from Strahd.
You can't.
That's what I thought. What the fuck? They burn it down every year, and also that's a vampire. What?
Babysitters.
I had a bit of a
Vampire? Leeches? Aquarium?
What do we got down here? Vampires?
Where are you getting these leeches?
Who wrote this damn
Vampires?
story? Bram Stoker?
Where's Winona Ryder now? Come on. No, but that's actually a good point. If that's a vampire, that's another blood sucking monster. First we had the leeches.
That's crazy.
Then we got the
Yeah,
vampires.
but what were you
Briar
thinking,
really
Evan?
turning into fucking Crystal and Sam. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's going mad. But
You are
is
going
Evan going
mad.
mad?
A little bit. Just kidding.
You and
Well, a
I
bit of
both,
a-
brother.
I had a bit of a metagame moment as the name Russell Crowe came into the picture, seeing as with the information that I have from Andre's story before he met up with the group, Russell Crowe is a big name for him, especially
Very
since
big.
since that's the patient that he's working on.
Well,
at
the patient you're working on, we'll get into that later. It's not specifically Russell Crowe.
well,
But Russell
he-
Crowe was mentioned in the paper that appeared to you.
Yeah, it's not really metagaming, is it?
No, it's just like,
Well-
oh my
well,
god.
That's just
I'm saying more
observing.
It's
metagame
connected.
because Andre
Yeah.
didn't know the information until I'm not sure if you guys ended up mentioning it or showing the information.
Probably.
Yeah, probably at
but-
some point.
But
No, we definitely shared it to Briar. If Briar shared it to you, then Briar shared it to you. Because
Yeah,
that's
but-
what the group
that's-
was at that point.
that's kind of what I'm saying is like Andre didn't really have the information. It was more just my reaction to the information given out over the table.
Mm-hmm. And what did you think of this?
What the fuck? And how is this guy still alive if this is my patient?
Exactly. Strange.
Oh,
Strange.
Let's just slap more fucking puzzle pieces down. Why don't we? Let's go crazy.
For the record, Briar wasn't like that's a vampire. That's Ryan. Briar was definitely like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
We-
Ryan?
Yeah, that's important too. Like
We
Ryan
ain't
was
ever
thinking
finishing
vampires.
this puzzle.
What were you guys thinking? Was there any monsters you guys were thinking, or did you even think at all, or were you just like weird fire?
Pinstripe Man.
Strange.
You thought he was involved in this?
Yeah, because you said grayed skin, little hat, and then suit. And I was like,
Interesting.
what's he doing there?
Interesting. Yeah, maybe he is the Pinstripe Man.
I had a very
But-
big theory on the Pinstripe Man early on.
You want to talk about it now? Or do you want to save it?
Well, we know a little bit about Holmes End. We know that Holmes End was brought up by a man named Holmes Montgomery. And
Like way back in the day.
he died a long time ago. And I thought maybe,
Oh.
maybe
Oh, maybe it's a spirit that couldn't leave.
yeah, that was my
After
leading
the
theory.
battle.
That's my leading theory is that Holmes Montgomery is this motherfucker.
Huh. Wow. Anybody other thoughts? Or-
Wow.
Wow. Well, meanwhile, Briar went to the Burning News. The actual building. It's a long 2-story brick building covered in peach paint. The north portion of the building is sectioned off by white tarp and steel. A revolving door stands southward below a large shining sign showing an open book lit aflame. The inside reception is small, with plenty of doors leading off into small quarters, and a door leading off into a large room filled with desks and computers. The floor is a dusty red carpet. The second floor leads up to a few other offices, a large room with cubicles, and a hallway that leads to the manager's office. From a previous investigation, Breyer had already gotten a layout of the facility, including a view into the back of the first floor, where most of the construction was taking place. Let's backtrack a bit to 9 days ago. The group were just starting to get to know each other. The graveyard hadn't been fully explored, and Vincent was still with us. During those first few precious days in Holmes End, Vincent had decided to take a visit to the Burning News. Do you remember why Vincent wanted to go there?
Mainly because Vincent and Breyer had talked about trying to get information from, or trying to get a meeting with Catherine, from what I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't remember exactly what information we were trying to get, but the way that we tried to make the appointment was to have Vincent
Ryan
convince
has
her
the
to go on a
finger.
date.
Now,
Yep, I remember that.
I remember why you were there. And it wasn't for a meeting with Catherine, it was to get into the construction area, into the very back. Because I remember before, when Breyer started off, he had a note that was, that he kind of took note of, was the fact that the Burning News was under construction for a very long time, and it didn't seem like it had any signs of stopping. So he was like, there's something going on in there. So if you, you know...
Something of fishy.
Yeah, we kind of came up with a plan of, like, if you get close with Catherine, even though I don't know why Breyer didn't do this with a 70 charm, but if you can get close to Catherine, you can
We're
get
busy.
So many things.
This whole event would be the downfall of Vincent.
Briar's too busy having a muck with Arthur.
Yeah, I'm not sure this event.
No, I remember specifically that this was the one that I used all of my luck on.
Yep.
Hence why I couldn't get out
Yeah,
alive.
you use like 40 points of luck to get a 1 on that charm check.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
What?
speaking of that charm check, during this visit, he spoke with the lady at the front desk, who, as it turned out, was the manager. A woman named Catherine Pine. She wears half-frame glasses and a striped business suit, with her brown hair kept in a neat and tidy bun. Vincent managed to convince Catherine to give him a tour of the facility, with an excellent charm check that apparently uses most of his luck. I did not know that. Because of this, however, Catherine took him around the offices and did a quick summary on the day-to-day workings of the facility. When Vincent questioned her on the back area where construction was being done, she hesitantly brought him down the corridor towards the back. The hallway was unsettlingly empty and mostly made of solid steel. The back door into the room was being watched over by 2 figures and was heavily reinforced, although it did have a long rectangular window that offered a small view into the inside. From a quick look, the area inside was dark and awash with copper pipes. Vincent didn't ask much, but Catherine's answers were quick and dismissive. Thanks to this, he wasn't able to glean much from the scenario. However, he had brought Breyer's pen camera with him and managed to capture the entire visit. Whilst looking over the footage, they found that there was a soft, flickering light just barely visible through the window, like the flame of a candle. I had forgotten to write a note about this moment in my summary, as you could tell, because I did mention it, but it was surprisingly important for something that was so small. What do y'all make of Vincent's visit? But that strange light.
What an ill omen that was.
There's something cooking back there. They got something back there.
And also, it wasn't necessarily a window. I think 2 people were in front of the door.
Mm-hmm.
They were guarding it, and I was only able to, with like a hard success, somehow make it so the pen was able to see like past them just like a slight little bit.
Yeah. They were definitely trying to block your sight as much as they could.
Mm-hmm.
DM says window. There's a window.
I mean, like I said, if you guys want to correct me, because obviously it's been a long time, and if your memory is better than mine is, I thought there was a window.
I remember a window.
That's
because it was
a
like
picture.
It was like it was a small like window that you just saw like a faint like flickering through. Is what at least that's what I envisioned in the moment.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought that was really
But
funny.
I thought that was a huge moment, and I remember when Vincent was like, "Hey, check this out." Briar was first of all like, "What the fuck?"
I also ended up saying skip past this part.
Yeah, get some Riz, buddy.
Yeah, when he
but
was talking to
also-
Catherine and did the
yeah.
charm.
But also, he was like, "This is big. There's something cooking back there. There's got to be a reason why it's always lit on fire. The fucking building
You're
always
making a
goes
good
on
old
fire.
stew, buddy.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, there's someone left
That's
a
where the
Bunsen burner on
kitchen
back there.
is.
Someone left a goddamn Bunsen burner on back there.
Yeah, what are they doing back there? What's going on back there?
Are they cooking meth? 'Cause I
Any other
want
thoughts?
some.
On this visit?
It's a little strange,
Definitely
Well, strange.
Well,
as
That's
most
a
things
very
tend to
common
be
statement.
in Holmes End.
Yeah. Just
And
add
then
to
as-
the list of weird things. Okay, weird.
We'll get to that
fucking
later.
construction
I also
site.
remember that during the session, once Vincent had kicked the bucket, I remember saying at the table, "What about his date?"
Yeah.
Yep, he had a date
Gone.
with Catherine.
I remember
You know
specifically
what?
you asked Briar to chauffeur you around.
Yep.
Because you mention in the recording, you're like, yeah, I have a butler.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I
so
did.
you're like,
Funny.
Briar, you need to be my butler, and Briar's like,
Wow, 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 wow.
I guess.
Wow.
Okay, that's Scooby. But yeah, she didn't seem too hurt by it. But again, you guys didn't really talk to her until a bit. Well, we'll see here actually. Back to the present. Briar had made his way over to the Burning News. There was a different lady at the front desk. She's darker skinned with a long black ponytail, wearing black glasses, and she has these long gold earrings. She seemed eager to talk, and managed to set up a meeting with Briar and Catherine. After all was said and done, the group prepared for other investigations and began to relax. A part of this was that Briar and Andre built a pool over at Andre's house to practice their swimming in case they ever had to go to the lake for Lauren's little investigation. And we haven't really talked about the group's credit rating and their assets. Do you think? Well, let's first start off with: do you guys know your assets or what they were?
Yep.
Remember, Andre specifically had a really high.
Oh yeah. It was at a 60, I believe.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Why do you
part
think
of
I was
it-
paying everything out of pocket?
Motherfucker.
Is that because of his credit rating, you were just able to fucking buy a pool.
Yep.
And you had a house and a nice car and
A lot of video
asked,
games.
Yeah, you have a lot of options with a good credit rating. So, yeah, do you guys think having a good credit rating is important? Or like more important than some other things?
Depends, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
just
have.
for me, while looking over this moment, I was like, Andre was able to do a lot with a good credit rating. He was able to prepare a lot better, and just having a place to rest is really important.
Yeah, I know credit rating checks are super useful, but we don't use them like practically ever.
Well, it's not the checks I think are important. I think just having a good number, so you can do all this stuff is important.
But
You get more freedom when you have a higher credit rating. Me sitting here with a solid 7 credit rating.
Yeah. I think Briar started off with a
It's rough,
20.
buddy.
He had like 20,000 for his assets. 8,000 were on his car, and another 6,000 for an apartment that he didn't even live in anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Briar's assets
Same,
will definitely go up as we continue.
I'd say it has its benefits, but I'd say it lacks the creativity that you can really come up with. Because
Does it?
it's easy to buy everything that you need and be prepared that way, but it also takes away from the creativity of how you can go about leveling up stats or trying to do checks to make improvements, kind of thing. Like with Andre buying a pool, that made it easier, so that way he wouldn't have to try and find a community pool or drive out of town or something like that. Or
Oh, I see it.
it was able to just every day he could just go back there and practice swimming if that was what he wanted to do. But with the creative aspect of it, it's like well, yeah, I just bought it. There's nothing else to it. If I wanted to try and get creative, I could have easily said, you know what, I want to go try and find a little pond, or you know what, I'm going to go out to the forest and go swimming in the lake kind of thing. That does add a little more risk, mind you, but
A little?
Yeah, I
you understand what I'm trying to say, though, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not necessarily about
You can solve
just having
problems
the ease.
easier than you would with low creating, which is you know, I imagine something Lauren has to deal with a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even Crystal.
You just have to find different ways of going about
Yeah, I
answering
think
your
so.
own questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately,
did
money.
Lauren...
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
go on.
I was just going to say money does have a lot of power in this,
Yep.
in some aspects.
It's just like real
Yeah,
life.
Did you ever find Lauren's credit rating to hinder her at all?
Yeah, sometimes. Especially when you have like a hotel bill. She started off with like she started off with a car that was a gift from her parents, so I didn't really mark that as like an asset. It was just more something she had.
Sure.
Which but yeah, other than that, she didn't really have anything to her name. So when it came to bigger expenses like that, it was definitely difficult. And we've gotten to a point now that kind of Briar buys everything.
Yeah.
So right now it hasn't been like a big hindrance, but definitely when everyone wasn't as close and she kind of had to rely on herself, it was a little more tricky.
Yeah, Briar was definitely the breadwinner of the group.
Yeah. By the way, I actually remember why we bought the pool, and it was not for Lauren's investigation. We had that
It was for the dream.
with the figures
Yeah.
dropping golden idol in the lake, and that has a lot of more prevalence. And this is where Brian's.
Brian?
The reason his name is Briar is because the nurse erased the whole, like, part of
Yeah,
the
the little bit of the end.
Right.
It gains more prevalence later on. A golden statue was dropped in the lake, not because of anything with the story, but because Briar drew a connection there that may or may not be important later on. But Briar was, in fact, around this point, he was like, "We should start practicing swimming if we want to go out there and find it, and do something like that. Especially if get a boat, it's knocked over. It's kind of fucked if you're not good at swimming." So
Yeah, but that's
Very
definitely
true.
that's really good forward thinking from Briar.
And funnily enough, to present date, Briar hasn't practiced swimming yet.
Nope. He
You
used
could
that
just
pool a couple
hire
times.
someone.
Briar's
Yeah.
never put a
Well, it's
fucking
kinda on the
pinky toe
back
in that
burner.
pool. Yeah.
That's rough, buddy.
Wasted Andre's money. I feel kind of bad about it, but
Yeah. Whatever.
He's fucking rolling in money anyways. Who
balling.
cares?
yeah.
Yeah, pros of having a good credit rating.
Yep.
But meanwhile, Lauren and Crystal met up with Walter at the Sly and Slender. They talked for a bit, and they learned that they all shared a similar dream. It was the one from yesterday, the one with all those strange visions. Was this something that you guys ever thought was important? The fact that you all shared this dream? Is this something that
Yeah.
you remember and you were like, we should look into this?
I think we did, but we didn't really get around to looking through it.
Yeah, we
But-
didn't act on it, but we were definitely like, that's strange that we all had the same dream on the same
Yeah.
night.
That's weird. That's suspicious.
That's weird. That's
Strange.
That's strange.
Yeah.
You know who didn't have that
it's
dream?
Like, with every
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, always in the back of your mind. But additionally, Walter shared his feelings about wanting to speak with the businessman again. It's the entire reason he came to the Sly and Slender. Walter believed he could have answers that he was looking for. He had to. And it was here that Walter kind of opened up to you guys at the bar. See, when Walter was young, his parents would read him stories, these fables that taught him lessons about the world. And one of his mom's favorites was the story of the monkey's paw. a cautionary horror tale about being careful what you wish for. Even though he was young, the story had stuck with him, although not as much as he would have hoped. For one day, when he was mad over something so small that he can't even remember, he couldn't even get the words out. You see, Walter had made a wish. In his childish anger, he had wished his parents were dead. And something had granted that wish. Walter didn't remember much from that night. Only that, when he came to, he was in police custody. His parents were gone. A fact he would never forgive himself for. And with a slow, deliberate movement, Walter took his hand out of his hoodie pocket to reveal a shriveled, almost mummified-looking pointer finger. Anything anybody want to add?
What
No.
the fuck?
Briar wasn't there.
How did this change your opinion on Walter? Both in character and out.
Out of character, Orion was like, "Oh, we got the monkey's paw? That's sick." And especially the fact that he was like, he made that wish, and then now the fact that he couldn't get the words there, I was like, oh, something like that's gonna happen again, isn't it?
Hmm. How about you two? The ones who were there.
I have a very, very, very vague memory of this. But I thought Walter was cooler as me. It was like, hey, yo, got the monkey
Yo, we
paw?
got a gimmick.
Let's go.
We got a gimmick.
He's not just a dude. He's got something going for him.
Oh, he's traumatized.
Oh no.
Yay,
Traumatized.
trauma.
Damn.
It was Lauren or Alyssa thinking.
I don't think my opinion really changed on him. I'm trying to remember. Please hold as my brain works.
Sure.
Sometimes.
How about you, Evan?
Table talk, I was kind of concerned.
Mhm.
Just seeing like he has this unrelenting power. Like, how is that going to affect us?
Mm-hmm.
And how is it going to affect the rest of the story?
Mm-hmm.
Seeing as he can practically wish for anything, are we going to somehow end up on his bad side, or is he going to be an ally until the bitter end?
Yeah. Yeah, but did anybody become more scared of him?
Not scared,
No.
more concerned.
Sure.
Thought he was so fucking cool, dude.
Not even a wish.
Yeah, Becky, come.
Not even a wish
I
to
think
kill
I was
Briar.
Such a
3 rounds, buddy.
I
3
think I
rounds.
was scared to see it. Like, not like his
Oh,
hand, like
yeah.
him like wishing for something.
Mhm.
Like that, because it seemed
Yeah.
very traumatic for him. And I knew from that moment too, like Lauren in her head was like, I'm not going to ask this man any more questions about his past.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, he was
Lauren
clearly very
also,
affected by it.
yeah, Lauren also has a very traumatic past, so she could relate on that level, not that extreme of a level, but similar level. So she understood that what he was talking about was a lot for him, and he was being very vulnerable with Lauren and Crystal. So
Mhm.
yeah, in her head, she's like, okay, that's probably the most I'm going to know about this guy, and I'm okay with that because I'm not going to pry in his life
It was
because
very
I
shocking.
understand how that feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very shocking.
Yeah.
Especially because you met this guy. I mean, it was a week or two ago, and
Mhm.
knowing what he could do at this point, and it really seemed like you all definitely just believed him. You were all like, "Yep,
Oh, yeah.
that happened,
Yeah.
damn."
He had evidence.
Well, I mean,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, he had his
Like-
finger.
Briar wasn't there
Yeah.
to hear it. So And
Well, at
even
least
if he
Ryan believed him.
Ryan was like, oh yeah, because Ryan's, I'm a silly guy. Briar probably would have been like, oh, you just got a frostbitten fingers. I don't fucking know, like, whatever. And I remember actually moving forward from that moment as well. Briar didn't try to pry with him because he was like, we had that moment down in the mausoleum. That's as much as we need to know about each other, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
And kind of the same thing with the entire party, you know. We don't pry into each other's business.
Yeah. Well, you focus on the prison, and when you do kind of talk with each other in those calm moments, it's always just about what's going on now, and let's try to relax now and try to forget about everything that's happened for a moment.
It was nice to like get to know him a little more though.
Mm-hmm.
Because really at this, well, we've definitely had like moments on off time where like characters would like talk and, you know, get to know each other a little bit. Like I know Lauren and Walter had that, Lauren and Crystal had that. Probably Briar and Andre and Brian and Vincent and whatever. Well, you did a little bit.
Andre and Vincent were the closest. Or what? Vincent
Excuse
and
me?
Vincent and Briar seemed pretty close.
It wasn't even that close.
They weren't even close.
Yeah.
Okay, I just meant because you guys like work together.
And that's the thing is that's where that's a major part of Briar's character is he's like, refer to me as Mr. Weathers. We're coworkers. You know, that's how it works. We're not friends, so on and so forth. Of course, that evolves because it has to. But at this point in the story, he's not like, call me Briar. He's like, we have a job to do. Who fucking cares? Sob stories aside, we don't need to worry about that shit. That's yesterday's news.
Stop ending or starting with the Riz face.
No, because it's like the burning news, you know, that
Yeah, I get
Well, I guess for at least Lauren, she felt like comfortable, at least with Crystal and Walter at this point, because she's never really had friends before.
Yeah.
So
and
she was
we'll find
getting
out
really...
later.
Go ahead.
Sorry, you go on.
I was mostly just gonna say she was getting comfortable with talking to people, and it was a really big moment for. What are you doing?
There's a floating hand. You guys see it?
Right, this is right. It was a weird shit on his webcam again.
Sorry,
We need the keys and jingle them.
I'm a pea brain. I get distracted. But yeah, it was a very vulnerable moment that he shared with us, and it felt nice that he trusted us enough to tell us that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna shut up and stop yapping.
It was nice to feel trusted when only knowing each other for like a short while.
Yeah.
It's like fuck stupid fucking Discord fucking fuck.
Yeah, a lot of bonding happens just through those moments. Those like 16-second moments where something bad's going to happen and how you react, and the fact that in that moment you choose to help somebody else. I feel like that really sticks with you, and those are very important moments. Those are important moments of bonding without ever really talking.
It's an unspoken bond.
Yeah, but this was much more
Intimate.
personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we'll see going forward that Walter's very similar to Lauren, where he's never really had anybody he could talk to. So the fact that he found these people, especially in this moment, he's gonna hold on to it. And, but pretty soon, the group gathered at the bar. Once again, the barkeep asked them all to stay past closing to help him out. When night finally arrived and the bar became empty and silent, a figure wearing a business suit and gas mask came strolling in the front door. He held up a ringing phone. On the other end, a strange voice came through. He explained that their investigations of the graveyard was a test. the figure on the other end needed a measure of their skills. The fact that they even came back after what happened told the figure enough. As a sign of trust, he gave them the briefcase with the money in the book. And someone took the book to look it over. There was a heavy blast of shock. The front door slammed open. On the other side was a horrifying figure. It was a decrepit-looking man wearing dirty and torn clothes. His face wore a sinister smile. The left side of his mouth was cut up to his eye, where you could see sharp teeth and saliva poking out from within. His left arm was completely destroyed, in place of which was a sharp pointed barrel of some large gun that appeared seared onto his skin. On top of it all, he wore a tarnished-looking cowboy hat. The group had no time to react before this figure came up to the businessman and shot him square in the chest, the shot ringing out into the night. The businessman began to curdle. The hole in his chest was spilling not blood, but what looked like wet clay. The businessman shrunk in on himself and fell to the ground, now a pile of brown mush. Something similar was happening to the figure who shot him. Steam rose from his gun and mouth, and his skin began to slough off and patter to the ground. As it did, his severed limb grew back, and his smile retraced itself back to normal. Before them now was the figure they had met at the bar the first day they had arrived, having looked like he hadn't aged a bit. He gave the crew a slight nod before taking up the briefcase and leaving the bar, although not before offering the group to follow him instead of this pile of mush now on the floor. Oh boy!
You can say that again.
Thoughts on this moment?
What?
What the fuck? No,
Cowboy!
my God.
I'm a cowboy, baby.
Yeah.
What
Thoughts
the
during,
fuck?
after? What the fuck? Great.
What the fuck was that?
Why'd you take our money, bro?
I don't care about the money.
Yo,
What the fuck's
during
wrong with his
that-
face and his arm?
During that was so scary in my head,
Yeah.
which was great. I was very happy I could picture that shit.
Terrifying.
Didn't like most of the group go insane because of
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I think Briar definitely got temporary insanity. I remember
Walter
very clearly
did,
he was afraid of the night
I
sky.
think.
I think Walter probably went insane as well.
Okay,
I don't know
wait.
about anybody else though.
Wait. I remember. I think it was this moment.
Yeah.
I think it was this moment when
Walter
Walter
saw
went
Mama.
insane and he looked at Lauren and he was like calling out for his mom. And I
Yeah,
think we
I think
were
this is what happened.
I think we were in combat
Yeah.
at this point. So Lauren
Yeah.
used like 3 of her turns just hugging Walter and trying to calm him
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, now that you mentioned
If you're
it, I
marking
definitely-
if you're marking down Warren moments, there's another tally for you.
it was awful because
Mhm.
Walter had just spilled something
Yeah.
very personal to him, and he went mad. And I rolled on the madness table, and a part of that was he saw somebody as a figure from his past. I thought the most thematically appropriate was to see his mom,
Yeah.
and he immediately just kind of reverted back to his 9-year-old self, and it was awful.
Yeah.
It was
I
so
remember
fucking sad.
I remember my heart like sinking, especially because like he looked at me after he fucking spilled all that, and I was
I
like,
feel it
"Oh
now."
fuck!" And yeah, I spent many turns of combat just hugging him and trying to like calm him down.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I remember.
Yeah, madness is it could
It's
be
scary.
a plethora of things, and
Madness is a bitch.
Madness is a bitch. That's a quote.
I remember Briar walked up to the cell phone figure, or the businessman, and he took the cell phone and the book, and then choked me like that. What
So
the
I
hell
just
was
attacked
that?
You, strange.
You know, what the hell? The
Is
cowboy.
there wet clay coming from your mouth?
I know. Sorry, I got a little bit of the businessman in me. The cowboy came in and killed the guy in front of me, and I remember the part that really got to him was the fact that this dude was melting into clay, and then like when he looked over at the cowboy was like turning back to normal, and I remember the cowboy was like, he said something, but Briar was just.
Yeah, I remember after the moment, I when he left, it was a silence where everybody was just like,
Huh?
Yeah.
"What happened?"
Like,
Because it
I
was
don't
so
know
so
how
sudden.
fucking
It was in the middle of
insane.
conversation. Just boom, the door fucking opened. This
was-
fucking thing came in.
It was so cool though. So cinematic.
Yeah,
Cool, but scary.
I remember thinking, oh, Briar's cooked. This guy comes in.
Yeah, he
huge
wouldn't
ass
have the worst
cannon
thing.
arm.
Bang, bang, bang.
This happened, and we see that the same. It was the same response. It was just deer in the headlights. What's going on?
Yep.
But thankfully, we rescued the book.
Yeah, but you got that, so that's definitely good. Yeah.
Pryor
And,
got the book.
What do you guys think of
everyone else
just
just stood there.
the businessman also just melting?
Well,
What the fuck?
That's weird. Why are
I
you
just
doing that,
put
sir?
something together.
Yeah,
Fun.
we'll get to that
Um,
later.
Yes, we will.
Oh.
Did you guys not know that? Did you guys not know
Oh no, I didn't think
cl-
about
it
it
just
until
clicked in my
right
head.
now.
It just clicked in my head.
Well,
Woo!
let's
I thought.
get back to
Okay.
this moment.
Anyway, that was what a weird guy. Why was he
Weird
clay?
guy.
I thought he was like
And-
ooze.
Was he clay the whole time? Or was
I don't know.
you,
I
you
wanna
guys
know.
have no idea, and that's the worst part. Is things are
Yeah,
happening,
the unknown.
and you kind of just watch it. It's like watching a
That's
car
awful.
crash.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
Yeah, that was really spooky. But again, really cool. Really fun to like watch play out, but also I was like gotta think of my character. This is awful,
Fun.
but it was really
Fun
cool.
to watch, not to be in.
Even just
Yeah,
remembering the
fun to
moment
watch,
makes my
fun to
body
play.
disappear.
Huh?
Even just thinking about the moment makes my body disappear.
Yeah, gone. Yeah,
Oh.
brings you
Floating
back
head
to
right
the-
now.
Oh yeah,
Literally a deer in the
You look like
headlights.
you're from like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Rhapsody. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ryan's webcam. See, he's wearing a full black shirt right now, and it's making his head look like he's part of that one
I'm lost in
Scott
the
video.
woods.
Yeah, I remember
film
thinking
video
the
by that one
businessman-
guy.
The businessman, I was like, first of all, weird he's talking to us through his cell phone. Come on now. That's kind of gauche.
Come on now.
Text us. Come on now. I have a pager. Okay?
Use your words.
Second of all, I was kind of relieved. I was like, you know what? This guy is dead. We got the book, got the cell phone. See the shoes. I see the money. It was like, this is it. This is where the supernatural becomes 100. Well, I mean, it was already real to us, but it was like,
Yeah.
okay.
This is
even
when
more,
the supernatural becomes natural.
This is where it's no longer just like that's a giant monster eel coming out. It's like this. There's
It's
people
something
with
I have to
powers.
deal
There's-
with.
Yeah, and there's also people with powers. What? So
Wow,
Insane.
that's weird.
past this
That's
point,
kinda weird.
Briar was kind of like, you know, maybe Jose and Don are kind of not spitting shit.
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
Maybe
In
they're
fact, I
onto
think around
something.
this time was where Briar was like, maybe they can help me bring him back from the dead. So
Yeah, as somebody who wasn't there for the situation and was kind of watching from a window, what did you think, Evan?
What the fuck is going on?
That's very common, I notice.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's because
I mean, it's Holmes End, baby. We don't
A lot
know
of
what
the
the
time
fuck's
it's like-
going on.
when I'm very guilty of this. When I'm not in a situation, I'll just try and zone out so that way I know I won't be as distracting to the scene. How often it works, I can't tell you. But I also do clue in at probably the worst moments. And so just the utter confusion of what the fuck is going on is just flooding into my head, being like, okay. So there's a guy with a gun for an arm. Man's made of clay. What?
Yeah, Evan has to roll a sanity check in real life.
I feel like
I
there's
fail
been
every
times
time.
where I have to roll sanity checks in real life.
Whoever's
Yeah,
rolling-
absolutely.
whoever's
you
rolling
do.
Like
for
I
you
think
is
I think
doing shit.
Lauren is more sane than Alyssa is.
That's saying
That's, I mean,
something.
that's what have
That's
you
saying a
seen?
lot.
Jesus.
She's seen Holmes End.
Yeah.
Well,
what
so is
she's
Lauren.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Lauren rolls really well on her sanity check.
Yeah.
Alyssa
Alyssa
can't roll.
doesn't.
Sanity rolls on real.
Selfish rolling for you is sucking at it.
Lauren has the bonus of kind of just being a homebody, not really doing a whole lot. Alyssa's got to deal with this stuff. She's, she goes out, slays monsters. It's a whole thing.
That's true. That's my day
It's
job.
actually her day job.
That's
Fuck.
my day
You
job.
said it first.
But yeah, this just happened.
I bet you do it,
Yeah.
bitch.
The group, now panicked and half insane, retreated their way to Andre's house. I believe they explained to Andre what had happened, or at least the gist of it, and he offered them a place to rest and hide out, similar to what Arthur had done. And thankfully, they all managed to gather around and rest. But during the night, the group all had a strange dream. It felt like they were falling into an endless void, spinning in the air, before their feet eventually landed on solid ground that was not there. They were an empty landscape of black, so much so that it was hard to tell the direction. The ground below them simply spread on into endless nothingness. They were dreaming. In the midst of the surrounding void, a man approached them. He had long black hair, wide eyes, and was wearing a leather jacket. He finally introduced himself as the figure on the phone. He apologized for the danger they had just gone through, although this would now be their life. They had all decided to come back to explore further, and that decided their fate. From now on, the dangers would not stop here. They might have even begun to notice something following them. An ancient being with a strange form. Something that challenged fear from the moment it appeared alongside a strange set of music. He called it the Boogeyman. A being made from pure fear. It had been following him for quite some time now, and he needed their help to try and get rid of it. And to do so, he would teach them each their souls. He explained that each person is born with an innate ability, something powerful that can only be unlocked through either great emotion or through training. This ability, their soul, would give them an edge against everything they had seen within the town of Holmes End. However, for the moment, they were all still damaged from the night prior, and this figure promised to teach them once they had returned to some semblance of normalcy. Finally, the figure advised them all to wake. And so they did. And that's the end of session 6.
Wow.
What do you guys think? Some answers are finally being put out here.
Not to be
Praise
more questions are
be,
being
praise
answered.
be,
not
praise
to be a
be,
broken
Russian
record,
man.
but what the fuck?
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan. What's
I
on
do-
your shoulder?
I did. It's a hand.
What's that guy doing there?
What the frick?
Praise be, Russian
Um,
Dream Man.
I remember.
Yeah, by the way, he had a Russian accent.
he also
He talked
gave
like
us,
this.
He gave us his name, didn't he?
He might have. I think
I
I
don't
mentioned
know
it in
if
the
he
next
did or not.
episode, but I will say it right now. He probably introduced himself as Mikhail.
Cue the
Praise be,
theme.
Mikhail.
What's really funny is I wrote down in my notes. Mikhail is the phone guy.
Mikhail is the phone guy. Hello. Yeah, hello.
Hey, I didn't think you'd make it.
Didn't think you'd make it for your first night.
Could
Hey,
you
kids,
imagine?
nice to meet you.
Just
Can
an
I-
ass
can I
phone
say
guy with
something
a
funny?
session.
That I
Yeah,
feel
what were your
like
thoughts?
happened.
Oh, go on.
I feel like me and Walter were high during this dream because we had edibles before we went to bed.
You were.
You were like, it's a
Definitely
weird
were.
fucking dream, dude.
I remember the first time this happened, and we were zoinked out of our fucking minds.
Fucking
And we were
zooted,
like-
bro.
And we're
That's-
like,
that's
what is
terrifying.
going on? So probably not the best time to have this dream, but
That is so funny.
Yeah.
I think
what
that
do
made
you-
everything a little less serious for Lauren.
I hope so.
She was like, "Whoa, this is a weird fucking dream. Okay, we're gonna sleep it off later."
Yeah. We're sleeping right now, though.
We go back
I'm gonna
to
wake
bed.
this off later.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake this up later.
But yeah, what did you think of this figure? What do you think of Mikhail? and the fact that he was
So
kind
cool.
of testing you all. Huh?
Thought it was so cool.
Oh, very common.
So happy to have some sort of maybe answers in the future.
It may be an ally, which, you know,
Yeah.
it's good, especially after what you just witnessed.
Crystal definitely thought of him as an ally immediately, as per usual. Because this is weird. We're all in one dream together. That doesn't usually happen except for magic. So
He knows some magic.
Magic.
Yeah, apparently he knows more than magic. He had
Magic.
some weird thing with souls.
So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember Briar hearing this
There's a
promise
Pixar
of
movie?
power and strength. He was like, "This is gonna be beyond useful."
Any other thoughts?
Crystal was psyched.
I think Lauren had the
imagine.
opposite reaction of, I don't want to fuck with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually demonstrated throughout the entire story of the idea of like, what would you do to make it happen? And Briar's answer is typically anything. And I think that's what makes him so attuned to this kind of stuff, and especially with the allure of it, it's just like, if this can
I
help
also
me
think
save
that makes him
people,
dangerous.
oh, maybe to himself, I'd say.
Well,
But yeah,
we'll see going forward.
it was very interesting.
Any other closing thoughts? No. All right.
Spoopy.
Well,
Another wonderful session.
Yes. Well done, Noah.
I'll see you all in the aftermath. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. We're back in town, and things are already starting to become dangerous once again. How will the group measure up this time? Have they learned anything from their experiences? Let's see. For sticking through this episode, the figure in the dream would like to ask you all, what do you desire most in this world? And what would you do to make that happen? Perhaps you all might unlock your own soul one day. For now, let's continue our investigation in the next episode. Chapter 7, Shootout at the Sly and Slender.